Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to kind of pull back the curtain on a film called 12th Fail.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's all about, beating the odds, right? Okay. And what makes this even more interesting is there's this companion documentary, Zero C Restart. And get this, that documentary is actually going to be in theaters.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's not your usual, straight to streaming kind of thing. So we're going to dig into a review of that documentary's trailer, and then I think we have some info from IMDb.
That was good.
And, kind of our mission today is we're not just looking at the film itself. We're going to see what all this tells us about, filmmaking and resilience and defying expectations.
Cool. I'm excited to dive in. Always love those behind the scenes stories.
Yeah, me too. And get this, there's some juicy bits in there. We're talking multiple directors turning this project down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then there's this actor, he outshone even Bollywood royalty.
Really? Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Right. So first things first, for anyone who hasn't seen 12th Fail, it basically tells the story of this village boy who is determined to make a better life for himself.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet, but I think I get the basic premise. Classic underdog story, right?
Yeah, but what do you think it is about this film that resonated so much with audiences? I mean, it was hailed as the film of the year back in 2023.
It is. It's a familiar theme, we see those underdog stories a lot. But I think 12th Fail, it just brought this rawness and emotional depth. It's you really see this young man's struggles, his doubt. It doesn't shy away from that.
Right.
And so when he finally triumphs, it's all the more powerful.
Absolutely. And now, on top of that, we have Zero C Restart, a whole documentary about the making of the film.
It's unusual for a documentary to get this kind of attention.
So it's getting a full theatrical release. What do you think that says about 12th Fail, that a documentary about its creation is getting this much attention?
I mean, there has to be something special about how they made the film.
Right.
It must be a really compelling story, behind the scenes to warrant a theatrical release.
And speaking of compelling, the trailer for Zero C Restart reveals that five directors turned this project down. 5.
Wow, that's a lot of rejection.
That's a lot of no's. So what do you think could have caused so much hesitation? What were those directors thinking?
Well, I mean, one possibility is Vikrant Massey.
The lead actor.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fantastic actor, but he wasn't a huge box office draw at the time.
Right.
Not like a Shah Rukh Khan. Like Shah Rukh Khan, that's a household name. His films are going to attract a lot of attention.
So maybe some of those directors just didn't see Massey as that kind of star.
Yeah, it's possible they were more focused on star power than the story.
And I think this also says something about the director, Vinod Chopra. He stuck with his vision even when others didn't.
Right. I mean, he clearly believed in this story and in Massey. And he didn't give up.
It makes you think. About trusting your gut and not letting rejection stop you.
Absolutely. And here's the irony,
What's that?
Vikrant Massey's performance, it ended up being so powerful.
Oh, yeah.
That he actually, outshone Shah Rukh Khan. And this was in a year when Khan had 3 major releases.
No way.
Yeah. So think about that. A relatively lesser-known actor grabbing more attention than one of Bollywood's biggest stars.
Yeah, that says a lot about Massey's talent and how much the film resonated with people.
It really does. It speaks to the power of authentic storytelling. And I think it also kind of shows how Bollywood is changing.
How so?
Well, audiences are starting to really look for those fresh faces and genuine stories.
Even amidst the traditional, star-driven system.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting?
What's that?
The title, Zero C Restart. It's not just a catchy title, it actually has this deeper meaning.
Yeah, it seems like it works on multiple levels.
Right. It's the theme of starting over in the film.
Yeah.
But it's also about the whole filmmaking process, the documentary's focus.
It even reflects Vinod Chopra's journey as a director, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think for us, it's a metaphor for any time we have to kind of hit that reset button in our lives.
Our own Zero C Restart moments.
Exactly. Those moments where we choose to start fresh and maybe defy some expectations.
It's a powerful thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
That Zero C Restart isn't just about filmmaking. It's about something much bigger. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the challenges they actually faced while making 12th Fail. What does that trailer tell us about the behind-the-scenes struggles?
Okay, yeah, let's get into that.
The trailer, it hints at some real struggles they went through making this film. what kind of challenges do you think, like, the director and the whole team might have had to deal with?
Well, filmmaking, it's a whole complicated process, right? You've got so many moving parts.
Yeah.
I mean, the Zero C Restart trailer, it shows some of those on-location shoots. And it looks like some pretty tough conditions, like extreme weather and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, so that alone can be a nightmare for the crew, just logistically,
Totally.
Not to mention, it's got to be hard for the actors to perform, when they're dealing with all that.
Right. Okay, so we got the physical challenges, but then on top of that, there's the whole creative side of things.
Exactly. I mean, filmmaking, it's just a constant stream of decisions, big and small. Casting, editing, all of it. It shapes the final product.
Okay.
And, there's always that pressure to stay true to the story you're trying to tell. But then you also have to think about what the audience expects, what they're used to.
Oh, for sure. And that's got to lead to some, pretty heated discussions, right?
Oh, yeah. I bet there were some intense creative debates going on behind the scenes.
For sure. And, of course, let's not forget about the money.
Oh, yeah, the budget. Always a factor in filmmaking.
It seems like that would be especially tough for a film like this. I think IMDb mentioned 12th Fail was like a passion project for Vinod Chopra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they mentioned that Massey, the lead actor, he wasn't that well known at the time, so I could see it being hard to get funding for a project like that.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And those financial limitations, they impact everything. I mean, the scale of the production, the resources they have access to, it all ties in.
So just imagine this for a second. You're the director, right?
Yeah, okay.
You've got 5 other directors who said no to this project.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably working with a tight budget. And on top of that, you've got all the usual chaos that comes with filmmaking. It must have taken some serious dedication to push through all that.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot of grit. And I think it just shows how much Vinod Chopra believed in this story.
Yeah.
He saw something special in 12th Fail, and he wasn't going to let anything stop him from making it.
It's really interesting, how both the film story and the behind-the-scenes story are all about this idea of resilience.
Right.
It's like Zero C Restart mirrors the themes that we see in 12th Fail itself.
It's a perfect example of life imitating art.
Yeah.
In the film, you have this character, he's overcoming all this adversity to achieve his dreams.
Right.
And then the documentary shows us the real life struggle of actually bringing that story to the screen. So you have resilience playing out on multiple levels.
We talk a lot on the show about the power of stories to inspire people.
Yeah.
And this is a real life example of that. Even the process of making a film can be this whole inspirational story about resilience and overcoming obstacles.
And I think this layered narrative, the film within the film, it just adds something extra to the viewing experience.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you appreciate the final product even more.
Right. When you know all the challenges they had to go through, it makes the success of 12th Fail even more remarkable. Speaking of remarkable, I think it's time we talked about, the elephant in the room, Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be super familiar with Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan is, imagine if, Tom Hanks and George Clooney had a baby.
Okay.
And that baby was also, a huge Bollywood superstar.
Wow. Okay, so he's, a really big deal.
Oh, yeah, he's a massive star.
And Vikrant Massey outshone him.
He did. And remember, this was a year when Shah Rukh Khan had 3 major releases.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
But it was Massey's performance in 12th Fail that really captured everyone's attention.
That's incredible. It really speaks to Massey's talent, the raw talent and authenticity he brought to that role.
You know what? I remember reading this review, and they were describing Massey's performance as deeply moving and totally believable. They said his portrayal of the character's struggles felt so real, so human, that you just couldn't help but root for him the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And it just reinforces this idea that, genuine storytelling and a powerful performance, they could be more important than having a big name attached to the project.
And maybe that's one of the biggest takeaways from all this.
Yeah.
12th Fail and Zero C Restart, it's a reminder that even in a world that's obsessed with star power and box office numbers, authenticity and heart, they can still win the day.
That's a powerful message. And it goes beyond just film,
Oh, absolutely.
In any field, in anything you do, the people who put in the work, who stick to their vision, and who connect with their audience in a genuine way, those are the ones who really make a difference.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have a lasting impact.
So thinking about Zero C Restart, it's not just like a documentary title.
Yeah.
It's this metaphor for those times in our lives when we have to, like, hit that reset button. You know, we all have those moments, right? Those Zero C Restart moments when we got to step back, rethink things, and kind of start fresh.
For sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes, those restarts, they happen after some setbacks. Like, remember how 12th Fail got rejected by 5 directors?
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe it's like, you've got a personal project and it doesn't quite take off the way you hoped.
Right, exactly. It could be anything.
It could even be something like, you decide, hey, I want to learn a new skill, or I'm going to switch careers. Like, that can feel like a huge leap of faith.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Stepping outside that comfort zone. But think about what we've been talking about.
Okay.
You've got that director. He's persistent, right? He doesn't give up on 12th Fail. And Vikrant Massey, he's so dedicated to his craft.
Right.
And then the film itself, it's all about overcoming those obstacles. It just shows you how powerful resilience can be.
So, okay, think about it this way. If a film about struggle, right? If it had to go through all those hurdles just to get made, what does that tell us, the viewers? Like, what can we learn from that about facing our own Zero C Restart moments in life?
I think it's a reminder that even when things get tough, even when we face, those rejections or we start doubting ourselves, we always have the choice to kind of regroup, re-strategize, try again.
It's like those Zero C Restart moments. They're not really failures. They're more like stepping stones.
Exactly. They're opportunities to learn, to grow, and to create something even better,
And it's kind of like in filmmaking, right?
How so?
Sometimes it's those unexpected paths that lead you to the most rewarding places. Like, who would have thought, right? A film about, someone failing their 12th grade exams. Who would have thought that would resonate so deeply with people?
Right.
And that it would even inspire a whole documentary about how it got made.
It's amazing. It just shows you like a compelling story. If it's told authentically and from the heart, it can really break through. And I think that's something we can all aim for,
Yeah.
in our own lives, no matter what we're passionate about.
It all comes back to that idea of resilience, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if we're talking about like a character in a movie or a director dealing with setbacks or even just our own personal journeys.
Right.
It's that ability to start over, to adapt, to keep chasing our goals. That's what really matters.
It's what shapes us. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into 12th Fail and Zero C Restart, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
Where do you see those Zero C Restart moments in your own life? What challenges have you faced, and what dreams are you still going after?
Take some inspiration from these stories we talked about today.
Yeah.
Embrace those moments of reinvention. And remember, even the tiniest steps forward, they can lead to amazing things.
And hey, if you're curious to see these stories in action, definitely check out 12th Fail or Zero C Restart. You won't regret it.
Until next time, keep on diving deep.